Welcome to Autosport BMW Radio Le Mans 107 FM, the Circuit International du Mans official English language radio station at the 1995 24 du Mans. This is John Hindhaugh, and I suppose it's about the right sort of time that we should go across to the tribune and say good afternoon to Ian and Paul.
Good afternoon, John. Your timing is perfect because the presentation of the drivers was just beginning as you said that, so well done, keep it up. You've only got to do it for another 30 hours, well no, 15 hours, because you'd only half and Steve does half, don't you?
Well, yes.
Well done.
Number 9 is on pole position and number 8 is alongside him. So number 9 with a 3 minutes 46.05 and number 8 with a 3 minutes 48.10. On the second row is Courage number 13, this is the one with the Porsche engine, 348.76, and alongside him number 11, the other Courage with the Chevrolet engine, 352.34. On the third row is the first of the Kramer Porsches, this is number 4, the red car, 355.09, and alongside it number 41, the Ferrari F40, 355.15, so 4 and 41 is the third row. On the fourth row, another two Ferraris, number 34, this is the Pilot sponsored car. Alongside him, number 40 is the other of the Jolly Club, the Ferrari Club Italia cars, 356.01. On the fifth row, the first of the McLarens, number 59, with a 357.18, and alongside him, the Works of Venturi with a 356.64. 59 and 44 then on the fifth row of the grid. On the sixth row, the Gulf McLaren, number 24, and alongside him, number 49 McLaren, which is the West car, and that is a 358.56. 24 and 49 then on the sixth row. On the seventh row is McLaren number 51, that's the Harrods car, 358.80, and alongside it, number 25, the second of the Gulf cars, 359.05. So 51 and 25 is the seventh row of the grid. On the eighth row, another McLaren, number 50, the Ducati-sponsored car, and alongside that, the yellow Kramer Porsche K8, number 3. 50 and 3 then on the 8th row. On the 9th row is the Ferrari, number 1, the Ferrari 333 SP, and alongside it is the first of the 911 Porsches, number 37. On the 10th row is the Kutsu Mazda, number 5, and alongside it is another of the McLarens, number 42. 5 and 42 then is the 10th row of the grid. On the 11th row, number 36 is one of the Labre Competition Porsche 911s, and alongside it, the first of the Jaguars, number 57, the Jaguar XJ220C. On the 12th row, the Chevrolet Callaway Corvette, number 76, and alongside it, the Lister Storm with the Jaguar engine, 76 and 52 on the 12th row of the grid. On the 13th row of the grid, the second of the Jaguars, number 58, and alongside it, the first of the Clarion-sponsored Nissans, number 23. 58 and 23 then, the 13th row of the grid. On the 14th row is the Porsche 911, number 54, and alongside it, the first of the Hondas, very bright red Hondas this year. This is number 47, so 54 and 47, the 14th row of the grid. On the 15th row is number 43, a Venturi 600 LM, and alongside it, the Toyota Supra, number 27. On the 16th row is the Saab, number 26, and alongside it is another Porsche 911, number 79. On the 17th row is number 55, Porsche 911, and alongside it, the Nissan, number 22. 55 and 22, the 17th row. On the 18th row of the grid, number 45, another Venturi, and alongside it is the Honda NSX running in GT2 category, number 84. On the 19th row is another Chevrolet Corvette, a Callaway Corvette I should call it, number 73, and alongside it is number 14, the Deborah, the other car that's running in LMP2, so 73 and 14 is the 19th row of the grid. On the 20th row of the grid, number 75 is the remaining Augusta Racing Callaway Corvette, and alongside it, number 91, Porsche 911 running in, that's the Repsol colours. On the 21st row of the grid, we have number 82, another Porsche 911 GT, and alongside it, the first of the Marcoses, number 70 this is, on the outside of the 21st row of the grid. So it's 82 and 70 on the 21st row of the grid. On the 22nd row of the grid, we get the second Marcos, number 71, and alongside it, the Honda NSX, the other car there running in the Honda team, on the outside of the 22nd row. So it's 71 and 46 on row 22. On row 23, we have number 81, another Porsche 911, and alongside it, another Porsche 911, number 77. And the very back of the grid, the 24th row of the grid, will be the Porsche 911, number 78, and alongside it, the Chevrolet Corvette ZR1, number 30, racing for muscular dystrophy, and that completes the grid, 78 and 30.
It's the two WM Peugeots that lead the way, the turbocharged 1.9-litre cars. The pace car pulls off. The WMs come up side by side. William David qualified on pole position in his first ever Le Mans. Is he going to lead his first ever Le Mans, or is he going to have to give best to his other car? Yes, it is number 8 that goes into the lead then as they go up towards the Dunlop S's, the Dunlop chicane for the first time. It's the WMs in the first two places then, but it's number 8 who goes ahead. Patrick Godin, the more experienced Le Mans driver, who goes ahead of William David as they go through the Dunlop chicane, then pursued in third place by Bob Wollek in the Courage Porsche number 13. Down towards the S's they go. It is the Courages then in third and fourth places, the second of the Courages with Henri Pescarolo's distinctive green helmet there, but it's, a twitch there by William David. Now, he doesn't want to get caught out on cool tyres, not totally cold, but nevertheless cool tyres as the cars go then through Tertre Rouge, now accelerate past those trees that take them out onto the Mulsanne straight. This is one of the fastest parts of the circuit as they accelerate up towards the first Mulsanne straight chicane. Already Henri Pescarolo falling back, and the next one through is the Moncherie, driven by Jean-Marc Goudon. So the leading GT car at this stage. It's very much a French benefit at the moment, with the WM Peugeots leading the race overall and the GT category being headed by the Moncherie with Jean-Marc Goudon into the first chicane then. The two WM Peugeots and Bob Wollek staying with them. He obviously doesn't at this stage want to see those Le Mans specials get away from him and stay with them as he does. He comes out of the chicane, accelerating now along that straight stretch between the two chicanes, and already Patrick Godin beginning to pull away. And in fact, Bob Wollek, I think, coming up to challenge the second of the WMs as they come into the braking area for the second chicane. He goes past, he goes into second place then. Bob Wollek then through into second place in the Courage Porsche. The other Courage, of course, a Chevrolet-powered car in the hands of Henri Pescarolo, dropping back a little bit towards the leading GT car. So through the second chicane then, still in the lead, number 8, Patrick Godin. Coming out of that second chicane, down towards the Mulsanne kink, up towards Mulsanne corner. Over the brow they'll go in a moment, pursued then in second place by Bob Wollek, who's pulling away a little bit now from third place man in the pole position car, number 9, William David. So William, despite qualifying on pole position, hasn't succeeded in leading his first Le Mans race on the first lap, but who knows what will happen over the next slightly under 24 hours. Through Mulsanne corner then, up towards Indianapolis they're going now. This is the other really fast part of the circuit. Those first three cars then pulling well clear of the fourth place car driven by Henri Pescarolo through the right-hand curve. They go, the first three, up now towards the left-hander, which is Indianapolis, headed by the number 8 WM Peugeot. And if anything, I would say he's being caught slightly by Bob Wollek as they come then up towards the left-hander at Indianapolis now. Certainly Bob Wollek is getting that little bit closer. Whether he'll succeed in taking the lead at the end of it by the end of this lap, I'd rather doubt, but certainly he is taking the race in the sports prototype, the much heavier car, something like 200 kilos heavier than the WM Peugeots, but of course a larger turbocharged engine than the leading car has. There's something coming out of the back wall of the second place Courage at the moment.
Yeah, it just looks like a little bit of an overfilled oil tank or something there, but it certainly was dropping a little bit of something as he came through the sweep coming in towards the Porsche curves. But look how far back the fourth place battle has gone. I mean, it's a sprint race for the first three places, isn't it?
Well, at the moment, those three have pulled well clear, and Paul probably will put a watch on the gap between the third place car and the leading GT cars. They come through at the end of lap 1. The screen doesn't give us the instant times that we're used to in the UK, so we'll have to give that information officially off the screen as soon as we get the chance to do so. But meanwhile, Bob Wollek now closing up on the leaders. They come through to the end of lap 1, and in fact, what is happening is he's dropping away a little bit now as they go finally through the Ford chicane up towards the Ford chicane for the end of lap 1, and he has right on his tail William David, but Patrick Godin it is. So the WM Peugeot leads the French car, French chassis, French engine, leads at the end of lap 1. Across the line he goes. So one lap completed by Patrick Godin in the lead. In second place it is Bob Wollek, but only just ahead of William David, and then a long, long way back in third place. Just now, coming into the Ford chicane and out of it is the fourth place car, which is a McLaren. In fact, the McLaren that has taken fourth place is the West car, John Nielsen. Well, this is exactly what JJ Leto was telling us on Radio Le Mans yesterday, that he was sure that John Nielsen would be the one to take the race to the prototypes, the leading McLaren driver, and so it's John Nielsen then in 4th place.
Something on the track there, Ian.
That's a bit of underbody, isn't it? So the under tray of one car has fallen off. I'm afraid we're not good enough on our under trays to identify which car that came off, Paul.
It's not facade.
Ian, something for you to keep a lookout for. Car number 47, which is the GT1 Honda, Bertrand Gachot's car, 17th at the moment, has a container of some sort hanging off the back, according to Graham Tyler, one of our spotters out at Arnage.
I wonder whether that also is something to do with that under tray that we saw on the circuit, whether it's the same car that's lost its under tray, and that's whatever it is that's hanging off the back of it is part of that whole problem.
Yes, we noticed that as well, John, as it came past the pits at the completion of that lap. As you say, the Honda there possibly having lost its under tray. Jerry Bootson in car number 4, Kramer Porsche K8, up to 28th place, so you are absolutely spot on, Ian. He took 8 cars on that lap.
Harry Turner's just been on my headphones telling me that the ZR1 Corvette, the first pit stop in the race, is taking on water in the pit lane, so that doesn't bode well at this early stage.
Jerry Bootson then making his way up through the field. You had him in, what, 19th place? Yes. Jerry Bootson, the focus of the television cameras at the moment, who featured in that dramatic finish for 2nd place last year with Eddie Irvine. Jerry, former Grand Prix winner for the Williams team, and now making his way after that delayed start at the pit lane. Up through the field at the moment, the cameras are showing him going towards the end of the Lausanne straight, towards Lausanne corner. And the car which has lost its capo and rear, which means it's part of its rear bodywork, is number 70, the Marcos of Chris Hodgetts. So number 70 is the car which has lost part of its rear bodywork and is running towards, we go down that far.
On the screen, the computer does, and he says 38. So that's the Chris Hodgetts Marcos 38 at the moment, but having lost that rear bodywork.
Through goes the leader then for the 4th time, and into the pits though. Into the pits comes the other WR Peugeot. This is rather earlier. I would have thought that we expected a WR Peugeot to come in, even given that they aren't the most robust of machines, and waving a right hand as he comes into the pits, comes to a halt. Bob Constantiouris will be on the spot very soon and will be telling us what it is they're doing to the car. They're certainly refueling the car.
Yes, I'm getting there. Were the mechanics actually expecting it to come in? I mean, we did suggest that, you know, there might be 1 or 2 of these people actually attempting to run out of sync anyway, and perhaps starting light as well. But it's just a refuel at the moment.
And there's also some tank tape. We can see as the television camera closes in on the car, they're applying tank tape to the...
Yeah, there's a fair amount of tank tape at the front end. Well, whether that was there before or not, I don't know.
There's more being put on around the screen,
yeah.
Vestigial screen.
Engine fires up. Toasts my bits. There's a fair amount of flame coming down the back of this thing, and it's back in the race.
That looked like a loose screen or something there, Bob, didn't it?
Certainly confirmation from the television pictures now of what we've been hearing, reporting into John about rain on the circuit from our spotters.
Yeah, and we're seeing that it's raining now more than drizzle. It's quite hard at Mulsanne, not quite enough for the tyres to be throwing up any spray at the moment.
I tell you, it's getting much harder, the rain. They're definitely going to switch to wet weather tyres. I think everyone is going to want to switch to wet weather tyres now, because the rain really is quite a lot harder.
We see there a Jaguar, I think, returning from the grass verge back onto the tarmac, but looking undamaged. And we also, whilst Paul was doing all that, we noticed another car that has come back into the race, or yes, come back into the race as opposed to the Sard, which is going into the race for the first time, and that is the number 41 Ferrari. In fact, no, it was the wrong sort of tail end. It's number 59 that had just come out of the pits, in fact. Number 59, which was Yannick Dalmas originally, and is now possibly being driven by JJ Leto, whether that's had a change of driver. Coming down the pits is the other WR Peugeot. The number 8 WR Peugeot is currently in its pit garage. The number 9 car is now in the pits also. That is currently being driven by Jean-Bernard Bouvet. So he stops by his pit. They don't seem to be exactly ready for him. Little doubt at all that the whole race order is going to become very disrupted for a few minutes, and the pit lane is going to become exceedingly crowded. The Kudzu has come in, number 5, which Jim Downing has been driving most recently. Also coming down the pit lane is the Courage number 11. So number 11 in the pits, it was Frank Lagorce who took that car over, and one would surmise that he's coming in to put on to wet tyres.
Yes, he had slicks on it before, Ian, so that's a sensible surmising.
And the leader's in.
Leaders in because we've got the Harrods car going through in the lead. So at the end of 22 laps, it's the Harrods car, Andy Wallace leading the race, and the West car, number 49, in the pits.
So Andy Wallace leading Le Mans for the first time since 1988.
And there goes the course car.
Yes, with a blue light on the roof. Are you sure it's a course car, not a police car? It's got an amber light on the roof, got a blue light on the roof. Which
He's taken quite a catastrophic wrong turn if it's a police car.
Anyway, meanwhile, just to confirm that Frank Jelinski took over the silver Callaway Corvette, the Callaway competition car. So Frank Jelinski then at the wheel of number 73, which was started by Enrico Battaglia. And we have now we have an emergency vehicle out on the circuit, which suggests that that's got nothing to do. Oh, we've got all kinds of vehicles out on the circuit. We have the sapeur-pompier vehicle also out. So the safety car is out. The safety car is out on the circuit and is lining up the cars behind it. So the race now being run for the first time this year under the safety car, which means all the cars have to line up. We have more than one safety car at Le Mans because the lap is so long, and it is because number 8, the WR Peugeot, has gone off the circuit.
And Harry, we know you're by the McLaren at the moment.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Steve. Drama there. Andy Wallace brought the car in. Derek Bell climbed in and was actually blipping the throttle to try and leave the pit at the end of a pit stop. And he was seen to be getting just full throttle. The engine was really buzzing away, and it turned out that the bolt holding one of the throttle cables onto the linkage had actually probably fallen out. It doesn't seem to have actually broken. So there's a fair amount of frantic activity here at the moment, trying to bolt. There are 2 throttle cables, so they've both got to be changed so they work in unison, and we're losing time here rapidly.
It's practically perfect timing. If you have to have a problem of this nature, normally being in the pits for this number of for this time would mean losing a lot of laps.
I can't believe that Frank Lagorce is going to be fit for anything if he gets that car back to the pits, because the poor chap is going to be absolutely shattered. So we've got number 49, the West McLaren, in the lead.
Ian, just to bring you up to date, Porsche number 79, the 911, waiting at the exit to the pit lane and being pushed back from there now. That's just been brought in by Enzo Calderari and taken over by Livian Brunner, or Brunner, I'm still not sure.
Brunner, we
very
decided.
attractive, though.
Yes, we decided it was Brunner, as in Yule.
I've got Andy Wallace in the pit here. If we're a bit crackly, do tell us and we'll try and move outside. Andy, that was a hell of a stint.
Oh, it was a very long one too.
I can feel the heat coming off him from here. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was very tricky conditions because I stayed up for a long time, too long in fact, but I kept thinking together with my pit crew that it may well dry up again, so we stayed on slicks for a while, lost a little bit of time. Then when we went on to wets, the rain really started to come down hard. And then places like the straight, which you would normally say, well, okay, at least the straight is flat. It isn't that right now, and the car is aquaplaning all the way down the straight.
Andy, I'm just being asked, did you see any of the incident out on the Mulsanne, or did you come in before that happened?
I saw an upside-down Peugeot, but I didn't see how it happened.
What we subsequently saw, of course, was the Peugeot, the WR Peugeot, the right way up again on its wheels. And in fact, through the murk, you can see, is it the same picture you're getting on the main screen, big screen? Yes, we can see the murk of the WR Peugeot, which is back on its 4 wheels on the end of the Mulsanne straight. And clear that car out of the race. We've got cars coming, though, into the pits meanwhile, one of them the Nissan Skylines. And the effect that this is having on the race positions, in fact, they haven't been updated on our screen. But what inevitably has happened is that the Mario Andretti Porsche Courage Porsche number 13 has come up into 2nd place, because it's now put at least, I think, 2 laps on the Harrods McLaren, which I'm afraid is still being worked on in the pits.
Yes, that's certainly dropped out of the top 4. At the moment, I think he's in 5th place, and he looks like he's ready to go. So Derek looks like he's about to go. There's certainly, yes, off he goes. So Derek Bell back in the race, but having lost certainly 3, possibly 4 laps. There was only 3 laps in the pits.
We have unofficial reports that Patrick Gonan, who indeed was the driver of car number 8, has chest injuries but is conscious and on the way to hospital.
That's good news, because from what Andy Wallace was saying about the car having turned over, in that open sports car, although it does have a rollover bar, might have been quite an alarming situation. It was a long time before they were able to move him from the track side. They got the car off the track quicker than they, I'm afraid, got the driver off the track. Anyway, they're now going through and racing again. Yes, the race is once more freed of the safety car. Rupert Keegan has just, whilst you're telling us all that, performed a nice little spin going out of Mulsanne. So Keegan was just driver just installed, having a spin. And I'm afraid there's front bodywork damage and the left-hand front wheel pointing in the wrong direction on the other WR Peugeot. So number 9, William David, took that car over quite recently, but I'm afraid the slippery surface has got the better of him. I think Jochen Mass is now beginning to enjoy himself. Certainly the McLaren, the West McLaren, looking very quick indeed. Although that lap time there is the pit stop lap time.
No,
So,
it's not the one. That's the one after the pit stop lap time.
but that's coming out of the pits, because they time it as it comes through down the pit. Another slow lap. So you can have 2 slow laps, one for coming in, one for going out. Will you go along with that?
Yes, I'll go along with that.
Yes, right. And Jochen going too quickly there into Mulsanne, and almost overshooting, but managed to get the car under control before he actually hit the barriers. So yes, he did look quick, but I'm sure that's the sort of thing that Dave Price would like to be seeing. So Jochen, he hasn't seemed to slow down. He's got up to full speed again as he comes down through the Porsche curves. Anyway, Jochen Mass then in the lead, and hopefully the screen will update itself pretty shortly and we can give you a representative lap time for that car. 25, Philippe Alliot. Oh, and Mario Andretti has had an accident. He's all right. The car's lost its rear wing, and it looks to me as though it's drivable, but in the Porsche curves, Mario has lost it. He's hit the barrier, taken the rear wing off the car, and I think the engine has stalled because he's not immediately driven it away again, but certainly Mario Andretti has had a moment. And the car, yes, the car's fired up, but it'll be back into the pit. So one of you, Bob, but Harry, to pit number 13, because you're about to have Mario Andretti in, having lost the rear wing on the car when it hit the barriers backwards. And we're just seeing the situation. Yes, he came up right up behind the number 4 Kramer Porsche, and I think was caught out by the fact that he was still in the yellow flag zone, just coming up to the green flag. The Kramer car at number 4 was going rather slower than Mario, who was clearly pressing on to good effect. The car's hit the wall on the right-hand side as well, and it's done a little bit of damage to the bodywork on that side. Let's hope. Oh, and the wheel, yes, the right-hand rear wheel rim is distorted, so that's been damaged too. But certainly the car will get back to the pits, but will need a bit of work done on it, I'm afraid, before it's fit to race again.
Ian.
And Bob, you'll be down with Mario Andretti, no doubt.
I am indeed. I'm right there. Mario's got out. There is slight rear end bodywork damage, not too much at all. They've brought out some new discs, so they may be planning to renew, particularly the right rear disc. Obviously, the rear wing is missing, but there's only a little bit of bodywork damage at the right. And Mario is out of the car. He's just quietly standing in the pit garage, having a look to watch the mechanics as they work on that right rear corner.
They're about to lose their second place.
Right.
To the Gulf Philippe Alliot car. We've got at the moment Sekiar going through in the number 59 car, but they're not going to hang on to that second place. We've got the other McLaren coming in, number 42 into the pits. The La Rivière Sourde Poulin car. So the Paul still second place is for
yes,
the Courage.
he's still there in second place. No, that was number 25 just going through there. In fact, just went through. So number 25 has taken second place. And the next one we wait for is for the Harrods car, number 51, as Jochen Mass goes through and puts now a lap over second place man, or former second place man, now third place man, Eric Hillary in the Courage number 13.
Back into the race goes number 9, the WR Peugeot, which was brought in with front-end damage.
Ian.
Hello, Bob.
The rear bodywork is now on number 13 Courage Porsche, and you're going to see Eric Hillary out there shortly.
Well, I'm afraid this is a mistake or moment, or whatever you like to call it, for Mario Andretti. Has dropped that car into the 20s now. It's down to 22nd place, and it may be a little bit lower than that by the time it gets back out onto the circuit. And Eric Hillary, then, as Bob was saying was about to happen, is now taking the Courage Porsche back out into the race. Hopefully the car is fully restored to 100% condition. And Eric Hillary, who was a winner here 2 years ago, with Christophe Bouchou and Jeff Brabham for Peugeot. Now out in the Courage Porsche, number 13, but with a large task on his hands. He will be much quicker than many of the cars that have passed him, or his car, whilst it was in the pits. And he will begin to make up places quite quickly, I would have thought.
But when the Harrods McLaren has come off going into Indianapolis, let's see whether that was an accident which caused it, or whether it was just going straight on at Indianapolis. Yes, there's some white boarded up gates up there which stops you going too far.
But is Derek Bell safe in third place? I don't suppose he is. So we will await the arrival on the screen or on the track towards the pits. Oh, he's coming out of the Ford chicane now, so whatever the moment was for Derek Bell, it has been rectified, it seems, without any damage to the car. And so Derek goes through.
And still the lead being held by the West McLaren.
But it's coming down, Paul, isn't it?
It is.
We'll time the car next time through. Derek Bell is really pressing on, isn't he, in the Harrods car? And there we have a Marcos that has got it wrong, having just got the numbers confused. It's number 70 that has now got the chicane wrong, the first Mulsanne chicane. Cor Oyser at the wheel of that car. Cor Oyser driving number 70 and lost it under braking for the first chicane. You can see the screen, yes, you can see the car still spinning around, but I think he managed to stop it. Not a la Stucky, and oh no, he has just gently nosed the tyres, yes. But there's a totally unconcerned, oh yes, he's turned around now. There's a slow motion marshal there. Tyres go flying, and out of the chicane emerges the Marcos. So number 70, giving Harry another chance to confuse himself, could be on its way to the pits to check the rear end, see whether there's any damage done as a result of Cor Oyser hitting some tyres.
I love it when you send me in to find out things and all I get is blank and sort of rather mystified looks from people.
Ah, well, we see more than they do, you see.
This is Autosport BMW Radio Le Mans 107 FM.
At the 1995 Le Mans 24 Hours, and McLaren F1 GTRs continue to make the running at the head of the field. The past hour belonged to JJ Leto, who turned in lap after lap at speeds which defied belief in the seemingly interminable race. Position at 3 a.m. could hardly have been closer, as battles throughout the field carried on in earnest. Another fine stint by JJ Leto in the number. The talk of the race, apart from the weather, has been the performance of the McLaren F1 GTRs, which was so far. And the good news for British fans is that the race is now being led by the Derek Bell car, shared with some
14 hours into the race as Dalmas struggles through at the South Circuit. To the top 6 places remain the same as they were at 5 a.m. this morning. 5 of the 7 McLarens are still running very strongly, with the 51 car of Wallace and Justin and Derek Bell leading with a 4.5-minute advantage over the second place McLaren of Dalmas, Leto and Sakia in number 59. Only those 2 McLarens on the lead lap, but playing catch-up for many hours now. The WSC prototype Courage Porsche, number 13 of Wollek, Andretti and Harrods. That since Mario Andretti spun the car into the Armco at the Porsche curbs around 8 o'clock last night.
I think this is a very tall order for number 13, isn't it, to catch the lead?
If neither of the leaders strike any problems at all, then you're absolutely right, Ian. It is a tall order because although there is a long way to go, 8 hours is actually not enough to make up 3 laps.
The car power sliding through, beautiful bit of driving by JJ, and we hope that if you can see that screen, the spectators can see that from that large screen. You can see the way he's hurling this car around the circuit and really once more reeling in Justin Bell, who's lapping 4:52, whereas we had JJ down in the 4:39s, didn't we?
He kind of settled to run in the 4:40s.
So, picture there of Justin Bell driving the Harrods car.
4 minutes 38.4 seconds for JJ Leto on that last lap. So I reckon we're going to have about another 5 or 6 laps of this from Justin's point of view. So every possibility within that time for JJ to get onto the tail if he continues at his current rate. The Corvette's got an interesting windscreen wiper, hasn't it? It sort of it's up in the air, look.
It salutes the car, doesn't it?
I believe Rocky Augusta is back in the lead of the class. Is that right, Paul?
Yes, he is, absolutely right. 10th place overall, and just under a minute clear of the other rival car in that class, the other Chevrolet Corvette.
Paul, who is this coming up behind Justin Bell again? It's never Mario Andretti again, is it?
I'll just have a look at that. It does look a lot like Mario, who's overtaking him for the second time.
No, it's not.
It's the Kramer car, which has
Christophe Bouchou
in it at the moment, and Bouchou finds a way past Justin. And that car, the Kramer Porsche, it's also had its problems, but it's 7 laps behind, so you ask that car to get back on terms, as the Mario Andretti Bob Wollek Courage car has done. He's asking a bit too much, I fear.
Here
comes Justin into the pits in.
And Derek Bell not looking as though he's going to take over. In fact, he's sitting there still without his helmet on, isn't he?
You're right, yeah.
Which is not where somebody would be if they're about to take over. So Justin Bell down the pit lane, which is its way parallel more or less with the Ford chicane, and coming in to change onto another set of wet tyres by the looks of things. Certainly, although it's deceptive what we can see on the start and finish straight about the state of the track, certainly looking at it as it goes around the circuit, you can see there are still some very wet parts of it, and so overall, now Bob, you've got the leader. We'll give you a shout interrupt when JJ comes inside.
Here comes Justin then, he's stationary, on goes the fuel. Tyres, in fact, it's interesting, they may not even change tyres. They're not looking, now Derek's clambering out to have a quick word with the boy. And altering the mirror, right in the mirror for him. Graham Ball's having a look at the tyres, gives a thumbs up to the team manager running the car, as though to say they're okay, don't worry, you don't need to take them off. Yeah, that's exactly what he was saying. So it'll be a shorter stop because they don't need to change the tyres. There's still fuel going in. And the fuel's off.
And JJ's coming to sight. The car is into the Ford chicane.
The screen is being wiped on Justin's car. The lights are on.
And he's going to be underway again as JJ comes out of the last little bit of the Ford chicane and accelerates up alongside the pits as Justin Bell takes the Harrods car out onto the track once more. Still in the lead, but he's not going to hang on. JJ comes shooting past the pits and accelerates into the back of the car. And Justin Bell breaks for the Dunlop chicane. The two leading cars then, and here are we, what, 20 to 9. And on Sunday morning, the two leading cars absolutely nose to tail, coming up over the curve, over the brow, under the Dunlop bridge. It's Justin Bell still just in the lead, and right down, breathing down his neck as they go into the S's is JJ Leto in the number 59 McLaren. Nose to tail, they go through the corner. We've watched JJ start through the S's on previous laps. A very exuberant start he displays. Justin looking in his mirrors, and I wonder what Derek has said to him about, well, perhaps you can find out for us, Bob, in a moment, exactly what Derek did say about the way in which Justin should react when he sees JJ sliding the car past, starting to get out of Tetra Rouge, and now accelerate up onto, now Justin remembers he was once a single-seater driver, so he knows how to keep doors closed. They're side by side as they accelerate now up to maximum speed, the fastest part of the circuit. They're side by side, absolutely side by side as they go onto the fastest part of the Mulsanne straight towards the first chicane. There's a slower car, and JJ moves ahead of Justin Bell. So for the first time in the race, car number 59 is now leading as they go down towards the first chicane. JJ Leto leads as they brake. Let's hope he doesn't get his braking wrong. Brakes for so much quicker under braking than JustinEll, and through the first.
Who has a heavier car? Who has a heavier car?
Has a heavier car, of course, yes. And they come out of the a flick there of the tail by Justin Bell as he accelerates in pursuit of JJ Leto. JJ's windscreen wiper was switched off, we notice, or it's either stopped that or switched off or stopped working. And so pulling away there. Now, of course, what the next thing is that JJ has to do is to open up as big a gap as possible, Paul, because he's going to be due into the pits in how many laps?
Yes, I have to go back and look at
You've been
that.
so engrossed in this that you haven't been paying attention to your lap chart. Now,
it was a 4 minutes 35 on that last lap from JJ, 4 minutes 35.9. And admittedly, he's running lower on fuel now, but with all that pressure, I mean, well, fabulous. Yes, okay, I'll concentrate for a minute.
Right, and also lapping in the 435s is the car in third place, and that is the number 13 car currently being driven by Mario Andretti. So he's working hard at reducing that 2-lap deficit, and still, of course, lots of time in which to do something about reducing that deficit.
JJ has probably got another 4 laps before he needs to come in maximum, but that really is maximum. Mario is in, though.
Yeah, Mario Andretti lying in third place, lapping as quickly as JJ Leto. Looks to me from the pictures that he's going to stay in the car whilst they refuel it. They're not going to change drivers then. Mario having finished his first stint. And the car simply being refueled. Bob, are you down? I know you up with the Harrods car, so possibly it's a bit of a way to get down before Mario leaves. But as far as we can see, there were no intention of changing tyres. So JJ Leto then thwarting his way on the run down towards Indianapolis, past one of the Nissans. Braking then for Indianapolis, locking the front. Yes, what Derek Bell has been describing to us earlier on about the way in which the McLaren's lock wheels being graphically displayed there, depicted for us by JJ under braking for Indianapolis, and Mario Andretti in what is a very filthy car now, going back up the pit lane, having just taken on fuel. So 4 laps, you reckon, Paul, before we have JJ Leto in his Paul will come back to his lap chart and will tell us how long ago it was that the Harrods car took the lead.
It was just after 3 o'clock in the morning that the Harrods car took the lead, so it had the lead for just under 6 hours, for about 5.5 hours the Harrods car had the lead. It's an awful long time to lead, but absolutely no use to them now.
The state of readiness, Bob, is not in the pit, around the pit of McLaren number 59, as what was the, and still is in fact on the screen, the leading car in GT2, the Honda number 84, I'm guessing Mulzan, as we're going to see on the replay, but manages to hit nothing, and although it looks dirty and battered and it's lost one of its eyes, it's still there leading the class now, ahead of the Callaway Corvettes.
In comes JJ Leto in the lead McLaren.
Yes, JJ then down the pit.
Everybody back out of the way. It will be Yannick Dalmas to take the car over.
And also, this will mean, this stop, of course, that the Harrods car will go back into the lead. So how many laps have we had JJ in the lead for?
Only 2.
So a brief time in the lead at the moment. Whether there'll be more to come later, we shall, of course, see as the race continues to develop. We're looking back towards, because it was a quite long gap that JJ was able to open up over the Harrods car in those few laps that he had in the lead. But Harry, you're down there?
I am indeed. JJ's out of the car, Yannick Dalmas installing himself. JJ looks, well, warm, but not exactly flustered. He's obviously pretty wound up, and will be making his way into the back of the pits. He's actually monitoring and supervising the pit stop. The fuel's finished. Various screens, mirrors, windows, and what have you.
Just as we carry on, Harry, the Harrods car goes back into the lead, then Justin Bell accelerates past the pits. How far they gone with the 59 car?
And that car is on its way.
Slowly Yannick down the pit lane. Remember, yes, JJ was very slow down the pit lane. Yannick is going slowly too. And the new leading car, the old leading car, back in the lead once more as it goes into the Dunlop chicane. So Yannick Dalmas is back out on the track, having taken over from JJ Leto.
JJ Leto. JJ, we have been marvelling and wondering at your performance over the last couple of stints. Why, how, over to you.
Just the McLaren car is very good. Nothing else to say, really. I mean, the engine has been working well and the car is well balanced, you know. We changed the setups a little bit when it started to rain yesterday, and we have been staying same all the time, but the car is performing very, very well.
And yourself?
Well, myself, I feel okay at the moment. I had a little nap, you know, before this stint, so I'm feeling okay.
What are the conditions like out there?
It's very slippery because now it starts to dry out a little bit, and you always have to find the wet parts to cool down the tires and try to keep them as cool as possible, you know, otherwise they wear out very quickly.
But you've kept the car on the wet, so it's not worth going to intermediates yet?
Not yet. It's a little bit too wet, but it's going to happen soon.
Okay, JJ, for driving the race so far, but we might see you in the car again, so you never know. Thank you very much indeed.
Yes, a very entertaining drive by JJ Leto, and that was Harry Turner, our Jiffy Condoms pit lane reporter. So now, Paul, I suppose what we've got to work out is when these two are going to come together on the same pit strategy, because I seem to remember you saying the only thing you were worried about JJ Leto's car was the fact that it wasn't doing quite as many laps as the other McLarens between stops.
Yeah, it's fallen into line again now. It had a couple of shorter, in the first part of JJ's stint was shorter, and it had a couple of shorter goes with Sakia, but that last one was about right. So we wait and see. The other thing which is going to happen, of course, is that Mario Andretti is continuing to put in these thunderingly quick laps in the Tourage Porsche, number 13, and he's in third place, trying desperately to get back on terms as well. And I just got this horrible, hopeful feeling that at the end of the race we're going to have all three of them landing up, coming side by side across the line or something.
And the car's now coming up towards the end of another lap.
Of course, just
towards the Porsche. Sorry, yes, John.
Sorry, Ian, just before we get this changed, I think that we're going to get, just as we mentioned that things look to be getting better, Graham Tyler, who's now back out at the margin, the daylight, it's like over the dark, I don't think. Sorry, at the chicane, reports that it's starting to rain on that side of the circuit again. So once again, the seesaw weather that we've had is just throwing the dice again, really, for all the drivers and teams.
Well, it means that it solves their problem about whether they should come in and put anything else other than staying on wet, doesn't it? Because
Absolutely.
the decision is made for them, just as they're wondering whether vacillating, whether they should change the weather changes, the weather comes to rain again. But as they come now up towards the Ford chicane to the end of another lap, it's pointless to time the gap because they are virtually nose to tail as they accelerate past the pits, and it could happen in almost exactly the same place where JJ Leto took the lead in the number 59 car 20 minutes ago, half an hour ago. So up towards the Dunlop curve, Justin Bell hanging on there in front, Yannick Dalmas closing right up on him. Now Yannick will of course wait his opportunity. He's now become a very professional long distance driver, former very successful single-seater driver, Formula 1 elsewhere, and he's right now on the tail of Justin Bell. Won't make a rash move. They've got a whole host of back markers ahead of them as they go down towards the S's. Now that's going to make life rather difficult for... Now, who was the blue flag being given to there? It was almost as if he was going to give it to Justin Bell. Justin sees the Callaway Corvette move out of the way, so the blue flag's being waved again, and in the inside of one of the Marcoses, number 71 Marcos, now they have ahead of them the Ferrari at number 41, and Justin has to correct the slide there as he goes tight on the inside of the Ferrari, accelerating now onto the Mulsanne straight, and it does rather look, doesn't it, as though Yannick will take that car into the lead in exactly the same place as JJ did, Paul.
Yes, bit of an action replay shot that they've just played on the video.
Well, Justin's getting the blue flag again. He doesn't need the blue flag. Anyway, of course, he's a Frenchman, isn't he, Yannick Dalmas, so that's probably the reason. Anyway, they're side by side now, coming down towards the first chicane, but chucking in behind, realising that this isn't the moment to pass. Or is he going to have a go? Yes, he's side by side. As they come into the braking area, the car snaked a little bit under braking, but Yannick decides at the last minute, now isn't the moment to do it. And the cameraman decides that's all far too boring. We won't watch that anymore. They're side by side, and it could well be that Yannick Dalmas will have the lead before they get to the... Yes, he has. He's got the lead then. So number 59 back into the lead as they both of them lap again the white Porsche number 78 into the braking area. They'll come in a moment for the second chicane. So Yannick Dalmas has taken that car back into the lead. And Paul will now give us the relatively prosaic but nevertheless fascinating statistic about which car will be into the pits next. It'll be Justin Bell, won't it? It will be Justin Bell. That's absolutely right.
Okay, here we go. Car comes to a halt. They're doing the tyres first. Justin out, and he climbs in.
So the lead now is held by number 59 by just over a lap from number 51. Paul has been monitoring the gap between the car in second place, which is the Harrods McLaren, and the Courage Porsche in third place, which is now being whirled around the circuit by brilliant Bob Wollek, the old chap. What was it Mario called him? Papa Wollek. Papa Wollek, right. Well, Papa Wollek in third place. How's he getting on?
It's down to 1 minute 3, 1 minute 4, or at least it was on the end of the last lap. I'm sure by the end of this lap he'll have it down to less than a minute. And then the other thing we need to do is to monitor Bob's lap times to see whether or not the lead is in danger or not. I'm sure I'm not going to be the only one who's monitoring those lap times.
Yeah, well, it's very encouraging to hear when Mario Andretti was talking to Bob just now that he wants to come back if he's invited. Well, I'm sure everybody will want to invite him back, and so it may well be that this isn't the last time we've seen him in a racing car. Let's hope it isn't, but certainly he declared his intention of retiring from IndyCar racing at the end of last year. So anyway, Bob Wollek taking no prisoners as he goes around the outside of one of the slower cars going through the Porsche curves, and really on a charge now, realising how much he's not just to, of course, Mario Andretti, but also to Bob Wollek, because Bob Wollek's raced here many, many, many times and has not yet achieved a win in the 24 races. 24 times he's raced at Le Mans, starting off with, I think it was an Alpine Renault in the 1960s, mainly with Porsches, not always though. And last year with the Toyota that he switched to when Porsche didn't want to know about him, that he would have a chance of winning last year. It wasn't to be then. And here he comes. Paul's got the watch going, and will give us a gap between Bob Wollek in third place at the moment and the second place Harrods back McLaren.
It's a long 46 seconds.
So he's literally slashing into that.
Well, yeah, that was something like 18 seconds on the lap. Now, we can start comparing that lap time with the lap time of the number 59 car and say that Bob's, provided everything goes well, within the next hour, if he can keep doing this, provided the pit stop goes for both Bob, because Bob has to make another pit stop, and the number 59 car has to make another pit stop.
You still think it's a possibility that we're going to have this amazingly tight finish?
A very serious possibility.
Right, provided that also that back markers don't keep getting in the way like just happened there.
Yeah.
And that must have been a bit of a hard stopper for him.
Yannick is hanging about, you know. He was flashing lights there to 9:11. He wanted it out of the way. So there's more motor racing going on at the end of this race. I know we had the great charge by Eddie Irvine last year, but there's a fair few drivers still out there pressing on. This is the first of the McLarens to make its final stop, Paul.
That's right, yes, Ian.
So
what happens is that the cars that are a little bit further out of contention, that don't have to, they're not quite so critical, shall we say, tend to make their stops a little bit earlier. The ones who make them later are the ones that are critical, because they want to have as much petrol in as they possibly can. The gap for the second place is down to 12 seconds. Just 12 seconds separates the Harrods car from the number 13 Courage.
And when are you predicting that the Harrods car will come in for the final time? In about 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
I suspect they'll leave it out there just as long as they can, although looking down there, they look as though they're preparing something.
But to interrupt, Paul, because we have the Harrods car coming down the pit lane, Andy Wallace at the wheel, so this is the critical moment for this car, or the critical moments are facing it now, because we remember the difficulty that Andy had getting that car back into the race, started back into the race, and he had to start it eventually on the starter motor with the car in gear once he could get it into a gear. So here it is then, and Bob will be there.
Stops. Fuel on.
Through the headset I can hear enormous support for this car.
Now, this is going to be the problem. Are they going to be able to A, get a gear, and B, get the car started in the gear, or engage a gear? Clutch and gearbox problems for this car.
Justin Bell stood by the car. The whole team, obviously, extremely concerned about this.
Harry, does it look like they've got any plan to do this, or they're just going to try what they've tried the other times?
I can't see anything in particular that they're going to use to try it. That's it. Fuel done. A white.
Well done, Andy.
Well, that was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, well, he's got it all
so maybe it wasn't first that he was in, but he certainly it started immediately and rolled immediately.
Yeah, well, I'm sure one of the things that's been going through Andy's mind, and no doubt with Dave Price's as well as the car's been going around for the last half hour or so, is actually how they overcame the problem, and they've solved it immaculately. It's gone straight back into the race, no difficulty, so it's there. And Paul, how will that affect its situation vis-a-vis? That is Bob Wollek.
That's Bob Wollek. Bob Wollek is now up into second place. So the Courage Porsche has done part one of its plan, which is to overtake one of the McLarens. In a minute it's going to do part two of the plan, which is to overtake the other McLaren and get onto the same lap, and then it has to do part three of the plan, the three-part plan.
Yes, right on the tail. Here we have them, the first and second cars coming to the end of the Mulsanne straight, and his lead it's a lap ahead at the moment of the second place car. So what it'll do is about to unlap himself. Bob Wollek accelerating up behind number 59. He's going to try and get in. There's a slower car ahead of them. He's going on the inside as they go in the first fast right-hander before Indianapolis. He hasn't got through there. Yannick Dalmas isn't going to make life easy for him. He's having another go as they come up towards this back marker, who the second of the right-handers before Indianapolis. He can't get through there either. Yannick Dalmas doing a great job in the McLaren of holding off the Courage Porsche into the next bit of the next right-hand sweep as they come down towards the sharp left-hander at Indianapolis, and Yannick Dalmas using a bit of imagination to ensure that Bob Wollek stays behind him. They're coming then up behind one of the Volturies as they come towards Arnage, the sharp right-hander there. Part of the circuit swooping down towards the Porsche curves. Still ahead is just as Andy Wallace previously wasn't making it easy for either JJ Leto or Yannick Dalmas to lap him or unlap himself, nor is Yannick Dalmas now making life easy for Bob Wollek.
Of course, this is a bit of the plan I didn't think about.
What, the difficulty of overtaking? Yes, quite, of unlapping. So at the moment Bob Wollek is not exactly boxed in, but stuck behind the leading McLaren. And do bear in mind, once he goes past it, he will not be in the lead of the race. He will simply be on the same lap. And the leading McLaren will be coming in very shortly, I thought, Paul, for its final stop.
Yes, it can come in any time in the next 10 minutes. As must Bob Wollek come in for a final stop as well.
Does he have to come in for a final stop? Definitely, Paul.
Yeah, they both do.
Who, Bob Wollek or...
Bob Wollek.
Yes.
Well,
Right.
that's what he said, and it makes sense.
But he also said that he needed new tyre. He wanted to have new tyres, and they didn't put new tyres on the car either. So,
Well, they may be just sort of saying these things for general consumption. They've got a different plan up their sleeve. Anyway, they're accelerating up past the pits now, and this is where Bob Wollek will unlap himself. So now we have the first two cars just about on the same lap. Bob Wollek clearly in the quicker car will begin to pull away now from Yannick Dalmas in the McLaren.
with 48 minutes to go to get a lap back.
You still think that's possible? Yeah. Meanwhile, looking at lap time for the number 51 car, 4:27.4, as compared with Bob Wollek going 3:59.9. Paul's got his calculator out and doing all kinds of sums, the fruits of which he'll reveal to us all in a moment. And the leader's lap time, 4:15.3. The camera's showing us the Harrods car. This time, possibly the leader, because he has got to make this one final stop.
Would be rather in because the 75 Callaway Corvette is actually in the 76 pit, which is right next door to the 59 pit. So it's all getting a bit crowded right here, and fuel being spilt and all sorts.
The leader coming in for the final time, so or should be the final time, the final scheduled time. So number 59 coming into the pits. Yannick Dalmas at the wheel. Harry, no doubt, is down there. Bob is down there.
I think we're probably both down here, aren't we, Bob?
No, I'm at the other end, actually.
Right, fair enough.
What's
yes,
going
I'm
on,
down
Harry?
here. Fuel in. No tyres. Straight, quick fuel stop.
Yannick Dalmas staying in, presumably.
Yes. And French Cameron were getting very close, but everybody else standing well back. Bit of a spray off the screen. That's it. Fuel's wiped away. It's wiped. A bit of a delay there. And away with no problem. McLaren rejoins the race.
Yannick Dalmas takes the leading car back out into the race. The McLaren BMW, there's something trailing underneath the car. There's something hanging out on the right-hand side. There it is. We'll no doubt the cameraman will pick this up in a moment, and we'll be able to have a closer look at whatever it is. It looks like a piece of tape of some
It
sort.
looks like some race tape, doesn't it?
Could be race tape, or that was the side on which the mechanic was standing when he was cleaning the windscreen. So it could be just literally a piece of paper towel that's got hooked around the windscreen.
It's fallen off, whatever it was. So let's hope it wasn't the vital part of the car. I don't think it is, and certainly Yannick Dalmas is not hanging about. He knows he's got to keep pressing on to ensure that Bob Wollek doesn't make a serious inroad into that lead. Paul, did you time a gap?
I didn't. I was going to time the pit stop, and because that was the all crucial thing, and then the finger fell asleep.
Right, the Courage pit are ready. I think, Bob, are they to receive Bob?
They most certainly are indeed. It's going to be a slash and dash, although there are tyres out, just in case. Here comes Bob Wollek. Comes in very carefully and stops right at the board. The fuel line goes on. The fuel, both sides, they look underneath the car again, because of course they've lost part of the underbody from underneath the car. And people crowd in. There's a road is opened up behind the team manager behind. The fuel is still on. I'd be surprised if they're going to fill it all the way up. I don't see why they had to. How long have they got? Half an hour, right. So they're still filling up. Still at it. No tyres, as far as I can see, and I don't think they're going to do tyres either. The fuel line's still on. Off comes the fuel. It started. Bob Wollek back in the race.
So he's going to live with those tyres, which have now seen 2 stints in the hands of Mario Andretti, and the stint and a half they will be asked to do now. Bob's already done 1 full stint. That's going to be another half stint. Half an hour on the 1 set of Michelin tyres. In pursuit of the Yannick Dalmas McLaren, but surely now a vain pursuit, Paul, or are you still giving him a chance?
It's difficult to see how it can work, I have to say. The lap times after the pit stop of Wollek, I was expecting to be under 4 minutes, and they've not been, and well, that's been the problem for him.
Yannick Dalmas is going to press on and make sure he gets to the flag. And just to repeat, if I may, what John has been saying is most important to everybody, please, that you don't think of cruising onto the track. The Honda has ground to a halt, number 46, not the Honda that was leading the GT2 category. So back there, the flag is going out now. The 1995 Le Mans 24-hour race comes to an end then. The first car that crossed the line is a McLaren. It's the Giacardi car. Olivier Guillard then almost probably worked that out for himself, but he was going to be the one to take the flag first. Anyway, he gets the flag as the first man to cross the line. And side by side across the line come the two Ferraris.
What a splendid sight here.
A marvellous sight there, the two Ferrari F40s. Lots of people said there was no way an F40 was going to finish Le Mans, but two Ferraris there, the number 41 car, and greeted by lots of Ferrari flags. Porsche 911, Porsche 911s have been finishing at Le Mans year after year after year. They haven't had a very happy year this year. Two crashed, one when it was leading the GT2 category. Across the line goes Bob Wollek there, Courage. Finished in second place, the best ever result for Yves Courage, his little company, finishing in second place for the Toyota Supra, smokes its way across the line, but it's been kept going to the end, and finishes number 27 in 14th place, and winning the Le Mans prototype category. Another French car, of course, number 14, Patrice Roussel, Edouard Cézanne, and Bernard Santal in Didier Bonnet's Deborah Ford with the Ford Cosworth turbocharged engine. The GT2 winner has taken the flag now, the number 84 Honda NSX. That driven by the three Japanese, very experienced Japanese drivers, Kunimitsu Takahashi, Keiichi Tsuchiya, and Akira Aida. Looking back towards the Ford chicane as we have across the line the British-driven, British-prepared, British-owned Porsche number 81, Jones, Nick Adams and Gerard McQuillan. The Marcos as the number 71 Marcos comes across the line. Francois Migo, David Leslie and Chris Marsh. Tremendous reception there. And the roof, if we had one, would be raised to the heavens, I think, by the reception that has been given to the Harrods McLaren as it crosses the line. A tremendous result. They would have expected a better one, of course, the way the car led for much of the race. Probably when we sit down and look at the statistics, we'll find that car led more of the race than any other. And up the line now, and a cheer for the winning driver, Yannick Dalmas. An enormous reception for Yannick Dalmas, winning his third Le Mans in 5 appearances at Le Mans. A remarkable achievement for the 33-year-old Frenchman, and much of it contributed to by the driving of JJ Leto, Jyrki Järvi-Leto, the Finnish former Grand Prix driver, who really has put on a marvellous display of Grand Prix driving in that McLaren during the course of this race.